I'm gonna go ahead and get started with guide video 11. We forgot a case. Right, right, right there, wherever the case is above me, from our last job. So let's go ahead and pop that case. That was from our story job that we had finished in our last guide video. Open number 1 and 2, and we got some money and XP. Hey, we leveled again. Just for kicks, let's see if we can get that last point. We have 5 skill points available, and it's going to cost 6. So we cannot get body panel repair yet. That's okay. We're going to level soon. So let's look at our next story car. So it's the 2000 Hinata Kagura SX. It's a Subaru. We all know it's a Subaru. It's fine. Hey, dude, you recognize me? Sure not. I'm the internet star of car racing. Well, perhaps a rising star. I go by the name RM. This is my new car project. I just snapped it up from a junkyard. For now, it looks like a piece of junk, but we can make it a gem. I mean, you can. But nobody has to know about that, right? Are you in this? Are you in with this project? I hope so. I just want you to check it if it starts up before the first episode, and we'll think about the rest later. Thanks. We'll see you on ImportTube. So apparently the artificial YouTube. Change oil, drain, and refill with new, and there'll be other tasks. So let's go ahead and take this order. Alright, this car is just filthy. Seems like every car we've gotten lately for story cars have been filthy. So we only have 2 pages of unidentified parts. A big difference from that last story car, the van. We had 8 pages of parts to repair. Change the oil, change brake fluid, coolant, power steering, and refill the washer fluid. Alright, so the first thing I'm doing with this bad boy, car washing it. And then we could do some diagnostics. So let's get this thing washing. And we'll detail it. While it's detailing, have I mentioned I'm really disappointed in the folks who put on the New Year's celebration at Times Square in New York? They always seem to drop the ball. Eh? Dad joke. Alright. Let's pop into the engine bay. We know we're going to put in some washer fluid, so let's just refill his washer fluid right now. And some Pepsi Max while we're getting some washer fluid. Alright. Washer fluid's in. Let's go to our tools. Do our onboard diagnostic scan. Alright, so there was a 9% part there right off the bat. And so we have some spark plugs, ignition coils. The ECU-A is only a 15. The ABS module is a 16. The catalytic converter is 19. Pretty much all these parts stink. So that was a useful test because we found a bunch of parts that are in terrible condition. The engine cannot be started, probably because of the spark plug issue we just identified. Multimeter. 6, 11, 16, 17, 12, 19, 15, 20, 04. All these parts are bad too. Every part on this is bad. So we have some fuses, an alternator, a battery. That's going to be easy to fix. In fact, I'm just pulling the battery in my hand right now. Let's do the electronic we did. Compression we won't be able to do because we can't start it. We can check the tires. 18, 23, 18. So the tires are not in great shape either. Alright, let's check the car status. What do they want us to, what was he wanting us to replace so far? Alternator, battery, ignition coils, the relays, the fuse, all the spark plugs, the throttle, and a couple of parts are not identified. He's not worried about the tires right now. Alright. Was the ECU A on there? It wasn't, so apparently he's not worried about that right now. Okay. Let's move this to the lifter. Let's get it up just a bit. We're draining the oil, so let's just pop it all the way in the air. While that's moving, I'm going to go over to my battery charger and charge that 9% battery. Drain on the oil. Was not much in there. Move the oil drainer back. Click on this. Let's get the oil filter off. I'm sure that's got to be replaced. Yep, oil filter. 3 parts not discovered. Okay. I mean, every part on this is bad. Did they check the starter yet? We didn't check the starter. Can I pull the starter from underneath, or do I have to be above? Some of these 4 cylinders, you can't pull the starter underneath the engine. You have to be in the engine bay. Yep, got to be in the engine bay. All right, let's just get the oil filter issue addressed. Oil filter. Part mount. Nice new oil filter. Grab the battery off the boiler, also known as the battery charger. Start mount and mount up the battery. Okay. I know we have some bad spark plugs here, so let's pull these. Oh, for some reason I thought the ABS module was on that list, part list. It was not. So I'm just going to slap it back on. That's what I get for getting ahead of myself. I did not have to pull the ABS module. Okay. Relay, spark plugs, throttle. Throttle, which sits on the front of the intake. Make sure you have your can of WD-40 handy. There is a few rusty parts here. Hey, while we're thinking of it, let's go ahead and drain the coolant. Drain the power steering fluid. There we go. And drain on the brake fluid. And we'll put new fluid back in, unmount the caps. Brake fluid, put the coolant back in. And some power steering fluid. Then we'll check our car status. And we have the other task done, the fluid changes. Battery we got fixed. Fuses we have not addressed. Spark plugs will addressing, the throttle will address. Alright, so we'll get 4 spark plugs, 4 ignition coils, oil filter we already bought, and a throttle. Let's buy the throttle. And go to the electronics store, get our 4 spark plugs, our 4 ignition coils. And while we're thinking about it, let's go back there, clear our search, and, well, let's see. I'm not sure if this is a standard alternator. Yeah, it is. We just buy the standard alternator real quick. So we'll pull this pulley first, then we can get the belt, and grab those 2 bolts off the alternator. Mount it back on with the new one. Put the belt on. Pulley. Put on the new throttle. Out here. Get up on top of the engine, and we'll pop in the spark plugs. And the new ignition coils. Now this thing should start. Oh, we should get the fuses addressed first. Where's the fuse box on this bad boy? There it is. Now, which fuses were bad? Easy way for me to identify those. I just pop out here. I'd go to examine mode. You can see it's the 2 big relays, the box one and the second fuse over. So, big relay, big relay, big relay, and the 70 amp fuse here. We can add those to our shopping list. Pull up the tablet. We're already in the electronics shop. Get a 70 amp fuse, a relay type B, and 2 relay A's. I'll mount those back in. Alright, and the fuse box cap back on. And I believe we just have the 3 parts not discovered. We haven't put oil in the car yet. Let's put some oil in it. Then we'll do, well, one, to see if the dang thing starts. Then run through our other standard diagnostic process that we've done on our other story cars and see what other parts this customer wants us to repair. So let's do additional tools, compression test. Okay, so it will start now, so we can do a compression test. That's good. It's not getting much pressure. We're only at like 3 bars. So it's not in great shape. They're all in the orange, so they're not in the red. I'll check the car status. And the customer doesn't want any of those parts fixed. Okay. Let's go to the fuel system. That was the other diagnostic tool that we could have run that we hadn't. Again, low pressure here. Typically this is going to be way over in the green, like in the 50s or 70s. Barely getting 2s. Fuel filter and fuel pump. Fuel filter, fuel pump. There we go. And there's just one more part we have not yet discovered. So fuel filter is easy. It sits right here on this engine. Peel that off. Go to part mount. Well, let's buy the fuel filter first. We need a filter and a pump. Fuel tray. And then if we go back to the gas tank, the fuel pump sits in the tank on these cars. There we go. And then there's one more part that we have yet to identify. As far as our diagnostic tools, we have ran through the gamut. So let's go to examine mode and just start doing the mechanic laying the eyes on the vehicle examine mode and see if we pick up any parts this way that the customer wants repaired. Now clearly every part on this car is in terrible shape, but the customer only wants certain things repaired, which is fine. Customers have their own prerogative. It's not every car has to be a full restoration, correct? All right. It's kind of slowly going through the things I know we can identify. See if we pick up anything that tickles the customer's fancy here off of that. So we did the engine. Car status. Okay, there it is. Air filter I4B. So just by examining parts, we found what the customer was not happy with. The air filter on this car is right here. And instead of clips, it actually has bolts, which I actually kind of like better. The clips are kind of a pain. Let's bolt the air filter. And add that to our shopping list. Buy an air filter. Slap on the new air filter. And we'll put the air filter cap back on. Put the 4 bolts back in place. And voila! All the parts are fixed. We did the oil and the coolant and what have you. $1,800 job. That order is done. We have finished another story order in quick order, actually. Let's look at our inventory. Let's sell all the parts that are below 30%. Pop the case. We did 1 and 2 when we started this video. Let's do 3 and 4. And we got money and experience again. Take that. And oh, that did level us up, didn't it? It did. Good. That should be enough to get... Yes. We have 10 available skill points, so we can get Renovator. So we'll be able to repair body parts, finally. Unlock. So where would I put my next points? So examining, it just cuts the time. I'm not worried about that. I would say where we're going to invest our next time, or our next skill points, is in fast hands and strong arms. And honestly, I think we'll just go back and forth between the two. Wouldn't say one is more valuable than the other. Is there any tools we want to buy? No, we have all the tools. Test pass is 10 grand. We're going to need to get that at some point. I believe there's a story car coming up here soon where we're going to have to align wheels. So it's something we're going to have to think about buying this next. But again, that's 10 grand to do that. These are for our own just kind of salvaging. Again, I don't think that it will affect story cars, so we're okay here. Let's pop out. Let's do a save. Check the next story car. It's a 2009 Royal Town. Change oil, other tasks. I don't think this will be the one that has to have an alignment done. Let's see if there's any customer cars that have any bonuses. No. So I might stop this, at least this Twitch stream for now, and then we'll make another. There's one with bonus experience. But we'll hold off on that. So this will be our next story car that we'll do, and we'll do one of these videos for each of the story cars, and then upload them to YouTube so they're there for Lucas, Isaac, and Parker, so they have them. And then we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to end the stream here. We did have a few drop frames, so I'm not sure if the internet's running a little slow. Sorry about that. But thank you all for watching. We'll be back later.